Welcome, and let's get started on our first lesson. Okay, MemKpr is open, and what we're going to do is we're going to sign up. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is sign up. We're going to go ahead and put in our information. In this particular case, I am going to create a site for Ronald Reagan. Okay, I have filled out most of the form for the new account, and I'm now just going to click on I agree, and then we're going to click on register. Okay, so all of you go ahead and do that. I'm going to hit register. Okay, it's time to check your email, your incoming email, and see if you've received something called CloudMe. That is a storage area that we're going to share with you later. At this point, you don't have to worry about that. It'll be probably in the next lesson number 2. And if for some reason you do not see a return email from MemKpr, check your junk mailbox just in case it went to your junk email. When I opened my file from MemKpr, it says in the email message, click here to activate. So you need to click on the click here to activate, and in a few seconds you will get your email to open up in this box, which is the one you're looking at right now. I'm going to go ahead and type in the one that I'm using for Ronald Reagan. Okay. And go ahead and put in the password. Okay, and that should get us in. All right, right now everything is ready to start adding. Okay, the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to start building the Reagan family, or in your case, the Joneses or the Smiths or whatever your name is. You should see it down here as the family name. All right, we're now ready to continue, and we're going to click on Add a Family Member. Okay, adding a family member. Okay, that's going to be the very first person we add. And the very first person, based on your family tree, can be you. You could be the center of all things that are happening, and you're going to add your parents, your children, and so on. So let's go ahead, and I again am doing this as if I am Ronald Reagan. Okay, we're going to do the family tree for Ronald Reagan. So let me go ahead and start filling in these areas here. First name, okay, and if we have a middle name, we put the middle name at the beginning of the first name. But in this particular case, all we're going to do is just have Ronald Reagan. Okay, male, date of birth. Okay. I went ahead and added in his birth date, and you can see that what we're doing is we're just adding in effect the, let me get his death date, which is a 06/05/ and the year of 2004. Okay, birth and death date, obviously he is not living, he is deceased. Okay, and what I like to select is, for those who are not living, I just choose the color gray. Okay, and in this particular case, this space here where it says phone number, obviously he doesn't answer his phone anymore, but if there happens to be places on the website give you opportunities to have a telephone number and someone answering a recorded message. So you could literally record a message, a short, under 1 minute message that might surprise some people if they were to hear the voice. For instance, if you ever had any phone messages that were left by your loved one that you have kept the recordings, you could actually set up a message or set up to replay that message that was coming from that person. So this space does not have to be filled out and can be used for that kind of special treat. We'll talk more about those special things that you can add into here. Now here is a choice of private or public, and in this particular case, I just choose public because all the information that I have from the Reagans were public, and so I picked up that information that way. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add his mother. Okay, so in this case, you add the entire name, and I am going to, let me just go ahead and finish this. I'll type in her name, which is Nellie Ann Wilson. Now in this case, I'm just going to leave her maiden name because I am actually going to start 2 generations above where I'll be able to put in the great-grandparents here. And so you'll see as I build the tree how that works out. And let me now put in Ronald Reagan's father, which was John Edward and Reagan. Now, only people with the last name Reagans are going to show up in the first picture, the picture that looks somewhat like a tree. Only people who were born with the last name Reagan. Okay, and again, I'll show you how that works. Now, in this particular case, we're talking about Ronald Reagan, and we want to add his first wife. Okay, his first wife was Jane Wyman. And we now are going to go look for a picture. Now, when I clicked on Choose File, okay, it opened the file that I selected, okay, and you can choose anywhere you want to go. And in this particular case, I opened the CloudMe folder, and the CloudMe folder, if you remember, CloudMe also sent you an email inviting you to join their cloud service, and they offer you 3 gigabytes of space, and if you use it conservatively, you should be able to build your entire family tree and have plenty of room left over. So in this case, I'm going to open up Reagan. All right, now you can see what I did here in the CloudMe file. I created all the family members that I'm going to work with, and this would be what you're going to need to do to have a place for the pictures that you're going to help tell the stories with for your family. Okay, in this particular case, I have all of the family members, and I need to get a Ronald Reagan picture. Okay, so this is his file, so I'm going to open that up. And I am going to choose from the pictures that I've already uploaded. Now you'll notice that in here, this picture is dimensions where it shows a 300 by 360. That is an ideal size that would fit into the space that we've allotted for it. So we'll click on that and we'll do open. Okay, and now we can see that that picture went here. Now the very next thing that we need to do is we need to click on the green bar. We want to add member. Okay, clicking on the bar. If I were to click on this, I would go directly to his page. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, let's just try it. Click on it, and we see that we have now set up a Ronald Reagan first page. Okay, and we see here that we have his mother and his father and his wife. Okay, now this is his first wife. We're going to do something a little different with his second. Okay, let's go back and look at what happened at the dashboard. We can now begin to fill in Ronald Reagan's father's information. Okay, so we're going to go in here. We're going to edit. Okay, we want to add his information as far as his birth and death dates. Okay, so the birth date was in 01/01/1883. His death date, we don't have the exact month, but we'll do 01/01 and the year of 1941. He is not living, he's deceased, and we're going to choose a gray background. Now we're going to add his mother, okay, and father. So his mother is Jeannie Cusack, and his father, John Michael Reagan. Okay, and we'll go ahead, and this time we're going to pick up a picture of him. So let's go back to the Reagan collection and find John Edward. And in John Edward, let's see which picture. This one is the correct one. Okay, so we'll open that. And now we'll do save. Okay, so we're going to save. Now let's take a look back on my dashboard. And you can see that we have now added a few more people to the family. We've got Ronald Reagan's father here. So now let's go and get his mother. Okay, and his mother is right here. So let's select her and edit. And she is Nellie. Okay, and let's go ahead and put a rough guesstimate of her age, which we know her birth and death year, but we're going to go 01, 01, and then 1883. Oops, back up one, 1883, like this one right here. Okay, 1883, and her death date was in 1962. So we're going to go 01, 01, 1962. Okay, and she is not living, so we'll do deceased, and the color would be gray for those who have passed. Okay, so now we're going to go and get a picture for her. So we'll click here, and we're jumping back to our CloudMe file. See, CloudMe, and of course the Reagans again. So we're going to, all we really need to do is click up here to Reagan. We're back to the Reagan file, and now we look for Nellie. Okay, Nellie. All right, we're going to double click on that, and we can choose an early picture of her, which is sized to 300 by 360 pixel, 360 pixels high. Okay, click on that, open there, and we will now save her picture. Okay, back to the dashboard. You can see that we've added her picture. Okay, now we're going to go another step deeper. We're going to go to John Michael, which is Reagan's grandfather, and he is right here. So let's go ahead and edit his. John Michael, date of birth is 01, 01, 1854 to 1889. Okay, deceased, gray background. Okay, now we're not going to add any relatives beyond that time. We don't have information of that, but there's no limitation on how far back you want to go, but we tend to like to have relatives that we have known in some way. Grandparents usually, and grandchildren to that point. Okay, so now we are going to add his picture from, oh, I'm sorry, we don't have a picture for him. So we're going to add a what we call a shadow picture, and we'll do that in a little bit. To help speed things up, I went ahead and added Jane Wyman, put her picture in, just like we did for all the rest. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the what I call shadow people. So here's the first shadow, or the person. When we don't have a picture for them, we can add a placement. Okay, so in this particular case, for Jenny Cusack, we'll add her birth date. We'll just go 01/01 and 1854, and then her death date of 01/01 1889, and deceased, and we'll make that gray. And now we'll choose a picture for her, and this time we're going to use the shadow people. Okay, so we'll see here we have a file called shadow people, and we'll pick the female and we'll open that, and then we'll save. We'll take a look at the dashboard, and you can see now what the shadow person looks like. And we're going to do the same thing for John, since we don't have his picture and only a shadow of his self. And so we're going to go ahead and put into here the death date 01/01 and then 1854. We can pick that up here, and then the date of 01/01, and that would be 1889. Okay, so now he's deceased. We're going to have a gray background. Then we're going to choose a shadow people for him also, and put the man. Okay, open, save, and we'll now take a look back at the dashboard. And the dashboard will have these two filled. We'll leave Nancy later. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to add in Ronald Reagan's children with Jane Wyman. Okay, so we're going to click on Edit. And this time we're going to do a little bit different. We're going to go way up here to the right-hand corner. See us up here? To add child. So we're going to add a child for Ronald Reagan. Okay, and the first name of the first child is Patty. That'd be Patty Ann. So Patty, and then we'll put Ann Reagan, female. The date of birth, we don't have the actual days, but what we can do is use again the 01, and we can get those dates and change them later. But no, she was born in 1952. Okay, so we're going to add the child, and it says the child is added. Okay, now we're going to add her brother. Okay, so we have another child. And so his name is Ronald, and then Prescott is his middle name, and Reagan, male, and he was born 01/01 in 1958. Okay, that's all the children right now, but we can see what happens. We'll go back to the dashboard. Okay. All right, so we've added Patty, we've added Ronald, and here they are right here. Okay. So you know what we're going to do. We're going to jump ahead real quick, but we're going to go ahead and put their pictures in so you don't have to watch that whole thing going on again. Now you see Patty and Ronald that have been added, and we're going to go to Ronald Reagan's father and edit him in the sense of adding a child. Beside Ronald Reagan, he has a brother named Neil. Okay, only one brother, added in that family. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a child. Now we want to make sure that we don't re-add Ronald Reagan, because he is already there, and you never want to repeat the name of any person. Once you've added them, you do not add any additional names for them for that same name. John, and then his middle name would be Neil. Okay, and see if we have his birth date. Yes, we're going to go 01/01/1908. Okay, and we don't have to put death dates in this point. He also is deceased, so we're just going to add the child. Okay, so now we're going to go back to the dashboard. We have him right here. Now we're going to go and add his picture. So at the same time here, we now can add his death date was in 1996. So we're just going to go 01/01/1996. And he is passed on. So he's deceased, and give him a gray color. Now also you see here there are blue, pink, purple, gray, white. Well, we typically use the gray for the deceased, but when we're adding live people, as you'll notice in Patty's and in Reagan's son, we use blue. So you can use some color when you have the live people. Okay, so we're going to click on gray, and then we're going to choose a picture for him. Okay, and let's go to his location, which would be Neil. Well, I guess would be under John Edward. No, this would be John Neil. There we are, John Neil. So we have a picture for him. We're going to capture this one. Okay, we're going to save. Now we go back to the dashboard, and we see we've added him in here. Now we need to do one more thing. The only people that are showing up in the family tree. Now remember, we're trying to follow the family line of the Reagans. Now obviously at the top, Ronald Reagan's grandmother is Jenny Cusack. All right, well, she's not going to show up because her last name is Cusack. And so to fix that, and we usually like to start out with the top grouping, with having the female also have the name of the family that's in the tree, the family tree. So we're going to go back and edit this one, and in her last name we're going to add Reagan to it. Okay, and then we'll save that. All right, and in that process we're now going to go take a look at the family tree. Okay, so we have this is a QR code. We told you about that before, and that's quick response. And so we're going to click on that quick response code and go to the family tree, and we see in the family tree what we just added was the name Reagan, and so this would be basically the start of the Reagan family. And then John had no brothers, so he then, with his wife, and of course if we follow him back, for instance, if we were to click on his picture, we would see that his wife is Nellie. Okay, and we won't bring Nellie's picture into the Reagans and naming her Reagan. We'll just keep only the one woman at the top who started everything. Okay, but we also notice now that we have John Reagan, John Neil, and we have Ronald Reagan. Okay, and so we can see how this is building out. Okay, and so we'll go down to Ronald Reagan, and it will open him up. Okay, and then we will we can see here that his children are Patty, so we'll click on Patty. Now you can see how we use that pink background for the first living person here. Okay, and then also she had no children. but you can see also over here to her brother. Okay, so you can see how we can jump around and get all the stories. In the next chapter, we're going to start showing how to begin to tell the stories and the memories. Okay, so we'll do that in our very next lesson, and we'll end this lesson now. Okay, thank you for watching, and get ready for lesson number 2.